I suppose an immense role that it would be easy for me to kind of take for granted, spread as it was over 4 decades or more. Um, Obviously, just the fact of having the security around which to develop as a composer is a huge thing. Um, there are obviously very specific resource matters. For example, the ability to develop relationships with performers as a composer as part of your administrative day job, that obviously has an effect on you as a composer, because composers rely hugely on social interaction and networking with performers, and over the years you need to build up those networks. And obviously, one way you do them is when visiting performers come to the university. I mean, the most important example of that is probably Hard Rain for me, because I was lucky enough to be involved in implementing the original residency relationship between Hard Rain and Music at Queen's in, I think, 2016. Obviously, there'd been associations before, but this was a formalized thing, which has been immeasurably important. And it immediately became a teaching resource. We were, again, because of the university, we were lucky enough to have resources to implement regular teaching activities with the individual players of Hard Rain. And that, for me, as a teacher of undergraduate composition groups, was incredibly important. I mean, we had the chance to have individual instrumental demonstrations, the chance to hear student pieces. It was always my kind of core belief in teaching composition that things needed to be written to be heard. So even in year one, students were able to hear short solos they'd written played by a virtuoso performer, and that was incredibly rich. I always say that you don't compose in a vacuum, and I usually mean by that you compose against the background of music that you've heard, that you either react against because you don't want to do the same thing, or you're influenced by because you do. But actually here, I mean it in the sense that you're not composing in a vacuum, because Music at Queen's has always been a community. And a very nice example of that in this concert is Seal Songs, a piece that was written 40 years ago for an undergraduate flute player, Sinead Frame, and premiered by her in the Harty Room, and has been played subsequently by generations of flute recitalists, and is now being played, to my great honour, by Aisling 40 years later. So Queen's has been the conceptual framework and the practical framework for an immense amount of my activity.